Since the Swiss discovered the internet last year after the closure of physical trade shows, we've been able to experience something completely new: the online watch expo. This year's Watches and Wonders has taken full advantage of this new digital age and has served us up a bevy of ticking treats. Here's our summary of the show. Looking to buy, sell, or exchange a premium watch? Visit Watchfinder, the pre-owned watch specialist. If you enjoy these videos and you'd like to see more, please help us by subscribing. It may not seem like much, but it really does mean a huge amount to us and me. Thank you. The 50th anniversary of the Rolex Explorer 2 was celebrated in true Rolex style by changing barely anything at all. An updated movement and less visual difference than your partner's hair pre- and post-haircut, Roundup, the headline act, followed by the once 36mm base Explorer that was inflated to 39mm being shrunk back down to 36mm. To gloss over this retreat, Rolex also offered the adventurer's watch in a steel and gold, perhaps misunderstanding that explorers tend to explore to find gold, not bring it with them. The brand also threw some new dials on the Datejust and Daytona and found some extra space for diamonds on the Day-Date and Lady Datejust too. Where Rolex has taken the opportunity to pretend like it doesn't care, Tudor has gone all out the other way, reminding us it's the cool one. Brushed gold and silver, yes, actual Yo-Ho-Me Hearty's silver, for the Black Bay 58, only further demonstrate how this perfect watch still has the room to surprise, with a green and very grey-looking taupe colour scheme rounding off the flagship release. The Black Bay Chrono, meanwhile, gets a thinner case and updated contrasting dials, perhaps just the push this snowball needed to pick up a bit of momentum. Now, bearing in mind that Patek Philippe considers its customers more as custodians than owners, there's no expectation for the watchmaker to pander to our annual desire to see exciting new additions to the lineup. Updating the 5711 Nautilus's dial to green is, in fact, pretty much the opposite, taking the popular blue dial away with one hand and punching you in the face with the other. But wait, it's not quite so clear-cut, because the new 5711 also gets, for the first time ever, a date window surround. But wait again, because actually Patek Philippe has released some awesome new watches. New Clou de Paris Calatravas, an annual calendar in stainless steel with a blue Shantung dial, and, last but certainly not least, an inline perpetual calendar where the day, date and month are displayed, well, in line. Whilst the headline act for Cartier's 2021 is the new Ballon Bleu de Cartier, that's Cartier speak for in-house movement, there's been an unexpected amount of technical tinkering going on at the Parisian jeweler. First of all, a sentence I never thought I'd say, the solar-powered Solar Beat Tank Must, which combines fusion power with quartz accuracy for the ideal fire-and-forget timepiece. But not only that, flying under the radar, there was not one, but 3 new mysterious watches. These are designs inspired by Cartier clocks long ago that give the observer some confusion as to how they operate. In the case of the floating movements of the Rotonde de Cartier Astro Mysterious, Skeleton Double Tourbillon, and Astro Tourbillon, the biggest mystery is why no one seems to be talking about them. It's been a year of surprises for Panerai and, in particular, the submersible. There's been a smaller, yes, smaller, submersible Bronzo and a submersible E-Lab ID concept that's almost entirely constructed from recycled materials. I'm not sure which surprise is the biggest. Fans have been desperate to get a wearable 42mm bronze submersible, almost as long as bronze has been in existence, or it certainly feels like, and Panerai has finally obliged. Now, the E-Lab ID, that is a curiosity. Recycling is hardly news, and the second-hand titanium alloy used in the case dial and movement isn't really going to blow anyone's mind, unless its former use was in Granny's hip. But that's not to say that saving the planet can't be cool, or at least interesting. Panerai claims that the superluminova luminous paint is recycled, and I simply can't figure out how. I've removed paint from things before, and I can assure you it was ruined. Not only that, but the sapphire crystal is also 100% recycled. Not reused, recycled. How you recycle the second hardest natural substance on the planet, I have no idea. Like the student keen to impress teacher, Montblanc is laying it on thick in its continuing effort to earn its watchmaking badge. For starters, there's the heritage manufacturer perpetual calendar that, with the complete overhaul of the perpetual calendar movement, could not only be set forwards in its entirety with just the crown, but also, IWC, are you listening? Backwards as well. No more expensive oopsies. For the main course, we're dining on the Star Legacy Suspended Exo Tourbillon, a watch that says no to hiding the balance wheel of a tourbillon deep inside the mechanism and lifts it 3.2mm closer to the dial, so it can be appreciated to its fullest. Of course, being a movement from the House of Minerva, a firm under Montblanc's care, it was always going to be a banger. And for Pudpuds, we have this, the Star Legacy Metamorphosis. Never mind sucking up to the teacher, this is rudely interrupting them to tell them how embarrassingly wrong they are and being as smug as possible whilst doing it. It's called Metamorphosis because pull the lever on the case side and the seconds track is whisked away, displaying the full might of the Exo Tourbillon's second appearance, here suspended from an invisible sapphire bridge. It's so visually impressive it's easy to miss the date complication hidden beneath the shutters as well. But most impressive is the world time globe, whose day-night ring steps aside to reveal a full, three-dimensional, orbiting moon phase indicator. You can always rely upon Erlangen to do something unexpected. Watchmaking is about tradition, traditionally, and although the German brand appears on the face of it to follow in the footsteps of its Swiss cousins by adding a perpetual calendar to the Lange 1, not everything is as it seems. What you'd get from the Swiss is subdials, subdials and more subdials. But Erlangen thought it could go one better. Thought and did. Rather than squish all 12 months into one tiny subdial, Erlangen used the largest part of the dial, the outer edge, and turned that into a month wheel. That leaves room for the iconic Lange 1 layout, including big date, and, oh, the leap year sneaks in at the bottom, just above the month marker. Collection Excellence Platine sounds like a credit card you can only dream of getting, but in reality it's home to Vacheron Constantin's Belle of the Ball for 2021, the Traditionnel Split Seconds Chronograph Ultra Thin, and at just 15 pieces, it's a darn sight more exclusive. The headline is it's a split-second chronograph. Yay! And it's an automatic. Boo! That sounds bad because the mechanism used in an automatic watch usually covers the split-second chronograph goodness, but not here. The rotor is mounted peripherally, so you can indeed have your cake and eat it too. Well, I say you, 15 other people who are very definitely not you. IWC must have received the same memo Panerai did, because for this year we've got the Big Pilot's Watch, but smaller. It's still called the Big Pilot's Watch, but instead of being 46 and a bit millimeters, it's a not so big but still big 43. It's kind of like the normal Pilot's Watch, but bigger. A big Pilot's Watch. No 7-day movement means no subdial means cleaner look, and with polished hands and with the option of a blue sunburst dial, it's more upmarket too. Maybe it should be called the Big Private Jet Pilot's Watch. As much as we want to see Piaget keep on breaking its own ultra-thin records until its watches could pass as communion wafers, it's fair that we can't expect that to happen every year. They've got to pace themselves a bit. But it's no time to lounge around, and so while the clever people thinking about shaving wheels and trimming springs go about their business, Piaget has given us the Polo Skeleton while we wait. It takes the Polo, a fairly nondescript but pleasant watch, and turns it up to 11, especially in blue, and double especially in blue with rose gold. Turns out the jewelers are showing the watch boys a thing or two about watchmaking, because alongside Piaget's Polo Skeleton is Bulgari's Octo Finissimo perpetual calendar, and it is, you guessed it, the thinnest perpetual calendar in the world. Styled in typical Octo fashion, the Finissimo perpetual calendar makes full use of its 40mm breadth to get the caliber BVL 305 down to just 2.75mm thick, with the whole watch measuring up at just 5.8mm thick. Perhaps even more impressive is that, thanks to the micro rotor, it's an automatic too. But the winner of this year's Watches and Wonders by a country mile has to be the newest member of the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso family. It's been 90 years since the Reverso came to be as a brave gamble on the emerging wristwatch trend, and to commemorate that period in the company's history, Jaeger-LeCoultre has gone all out. Seriously, this is like the kid that got a bouncy castle, clown, magician and petting zoo for their birthday, because the Reverso quad triptych is absolutely outrageous. It has analog time, a tourbillon, perpetual calendar with instant change big date and day-night indicator, jumping digital time, minute repeater, and a synodic, anomalistic, draconic, and southern hemispheric moon phase display, all in a case 31mm wide, 51mm tall, and 15mm thick. How does it do it? Like any good Monte Carlo apartment owner, by making good use of space. The quad in the quad triptych's name refers to the use of the front and back of not just the reversible part of the Reverso's case, but also the frame that holds it. Yes, that very skinny bit at the back. It's all connected, all part of the same mechanism across the different facets, and was probably designed by a recent doctorate graduate, as it is basically a horological cheat sheet. The watchmaker's watchmaker. I think we can all agree by now that Jaeger-LeCoultre is officially a watchmaker all of its own. We haven't been able to cover everything in our roundup of this year's Watches and Wonders, but what you've seen are some of our highlights. If you can't wait until next year to get your fix of new horological tricks, head on over to Watchfinder to catch up on news of all the other releases. Until next time. Discover more exceptional watches at Watchfinder. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. If there are any watches you'd like to see featured, please let us know in the comments below.